I don't mind a bit of noise coming out of a fork, but this thing here, it sounds like a cacophony of queefs. Hey folks, we're back again with another video, and today we're working on a 2025 Fox Factory Series Float 34 with a Grip X damper. We're going to be doing a full service on this fork, full 50-hour lower, full air spring, and full damper service. This fork technically doesn't need any of it. The original plan was to just swap out the air spring, convert it from a 140 millimeter to a 130 millimeter travel, but this fork does make a lot of noise, and I have no idea if it's normal for a Grip X type fork. If any of you out there happen to have one of these things and find that it's super noisy, it'd be great if you could share it with me, right? Because again, this thing really is noisy, and I'm wondering if, well, something might be off. At the end of all this, you will have a video that you could use to fully service your fork to get it ready for a whole new season. So with that being said, let's get into the tools and parts needed for the job. I'm going to break out the tools into three sections: 50-hour service, air spring service, damper service. No matter the section, the most important tool on the table, right there, wear your safety glasses. 50-hour tools, order of use: pencil, pen, paper to write down our settings, shock pump to get our air settings and to fill up the fork later. Then we're going to remove the rebound knob, 2 millimeter Allen for that. Then we want to take out our nuts. 15 millimeter socket, 10 millimeter socket to remove the lower nuts. We need to separate the lower legs from the boots. Fox makes these tools. You could buy them aftermarket, or you can build your own out of couplers. This is an M10x1, this is an M8x1, and a mallet in order to separate the shafts on the inside. Then we're going to separate the fork. Make sure you have an oil pan in order for oil to go into. Then we need to take out the foam rings. A pick will come in handy for that. Remove the wipers. You could use a wrench, or you could get yourself one of these tire tools that has a nice plastic coating in order to help you remove them with, well, minimal damage to the lower leg, or at least the paint to the lower leg, right? So then I'm going to go through my ritual of cleaning the inside of the fork, which involves a rubber band, wooden dowel, and towels. So then we're going to clean everything up, put everything back together. We're going to need a wiper installation tool, in this case a 34 millimeter. You need the right size for the fork you're working on, and a torque wrench to torque everything down at the end. Alcohol, again, paper towel, and that's pretty much it. Let's go into the air spring tools. For the air spring tools, you're going to need the 50-hour tools plus the following: 26 millimeter chamferless socket, flat socket to remove the air cap on top. If you have a beveled socket, well, just be very careful, right? So then we need to remove a C-clip at the bottom, or a retaining ring. A flat pick comes in very handy for removing that ring. So then we're going to take the air spring out. We're going to clean it, put it in a soft jaw 10 millimeter hole, and use a 12 millimeter wrench or an adjustable wrench, Nip-X, whatever you want, to remove the base nut from the shaft. You might need heat to get that done. We're going to need a 12 millimeter crowfoot later, but to torque it down to the proper specs. Clean the inside of the upper tube, dowel, paper towels, alcohol. So we're going to, now we separated the base nut, take everything out of the air spring, change all the seals, pick comes in handy, put it all back together. There's going to be a point where we're going to have to put a bearing assembly into the shaft again. A bullet tool comes in handy for that one, because you take a big risk on damaging the quad ring inside that bearing head basically, or inner piston, whatever you want to call it. So a bullet tool comes in super handy. Then we need to put the base nut back on, Loctite red to lock it down, put everything back into the fork, and then we need to inject a little bit of oil. A small syringe comes in handy, up to 4 milliliters, 3 milliliter cc's minimum. Torque wrench to torque down the top cap after, and that's pretty much, alcohol, paper towel again, and that's pretty much it. Let's go into the damper tools. For the damper, first we're going to start off with removing the dials, 2 millimeter Allen. Then we need to remove the damper. 28 millimeter flat chamferless socket preferred. If you have a chamfered, be careful. We're going to take the damper out. We're going to put it into a flat jaw. Actually, before we do that, we're going to clean the inside of the upper tube, dowel, paper towel, alcohols. Then we're going to take the damper, we're going to put it into a flat jaw. We're going to separate the tubes. 18 millimeter wrench, adjustable wrench, Nip-X, whatever you want. But we're going to need an 18 millimeter crowfoot to torque it all back down later, okay? First, we're going to work on the compression stack. 4 millimeter Allen to remove the nut or the bolt that holds the compression stack together, and make sure you have a zip tie, a small zip tie, or a tie wrap in order to take the whole stack out as a whole. So we're going to work on the stack. Now, this is optional. I highly recommend you don't try and change the seals inside the low speed compression and high speed compression dials. If you do, you are going to need two very small, thin, strong picks in order to take out a C-clip on the low-speed compression knob, and do not attempt it without a magnet. You want a magnet, okay, to catch that C-clip. You don't want to lose that C-clip. So we're all done with the upper. Again, that's optional. I highly recommend you don't do it. So we're done with the upper. Now we're going to work on the rebound. For the rebound, we're going to need a 9mm wrench, adjustable wrench, whatever, for the base nut, and a 8mm wrench for the piston assembly, the rebound piston, a 9mm crowfoot in order to torque it all back down. To remove the base nut, we might need heat, we might not need heat, who knows. So picks in order to change seals. Now we're going to put you might also need an 8mm pulled soft jaw in order to remove the base nut, to hold the shaft to remove the base nut. So we're going to put it all together. We're going to need two Loctites, Loctite blue and Loctite red. We're going to need a torque wrench. Alcohol comes in handy. Again, paper towels, and that's pretty much it. Folks, if I'm missing anything, we'll go through it while we're doing the job. Next, let's go over the parts needed for the job. As for parts, we're going to need seal kits. Let's start off with the lowers. Part number 803-00-945. This has the wipers and everything needed for the lowers. For the air spring, we're going to need the seal kit, part number 803-00-963. Now I'm going to be changing the air spring to a 130 from a 140. Part number for the 130 air spring is 820-02-600-kit. Technically, you don't need to put in that kit if you do a Google search. And this is the 130 float air spring with a 1.214 bore. For the Grip X damper, Grip X, we need part number 803-04-091. Now, for the lowers, we need 20 weight gold. For the damper, we're going to be needing 4 weight. Technically, the old stuff was 5 weight. Now, Fox is moving not all, but most of the 5 weight to 4 weight. And I'm going to be using SRAM butter, but you could use your preference, like oleum, slick honey, for, well, the grease, all right? Let's get into working on this fork. Before we start working on a fork, we want to make sure to get it as clean as possible. Make sure to remove all dirt from inside the steer tube, from behind the arch, and from underneath the lower legs, because we do not want dirt falling into the fork when we put it all back together at the end. That'd be a bad thing. So the first thing we need to do is write down our settings. Now, technically, I don't need to do that because I'm going to be changing the air spring, which is going to change all my settings anyway, right? But just to go through the motions for you guys that have never done this before, grab your pen and a paper, or pencil and a paper, grab your shock pump, put it in, get your PSI, and I'm at 86, so let's say 86 plus, I don't know, at least 3. All right, now we're gonna take out our air. Make sure you take it out slowly, very slowly, no rush over here. Next, we're going to take down our high-speed compression and our low-speed compression. High-speed compression is the larger blue dial. Turn it counterclockwise and count the clicks. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 clicks for me. And the low-speed compression is the black dial on the inside. Counterclockwise. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Wow, 5 and 5. Okay, and then we're going to go down to the rebound. There is a cap that we need to remove. Oh man, sometimes I find these things annoying.
Eventually.
It's going to take forever. And then once we remove the cap, put it on the side, rebound knob, counterclockwise towards the fast position, right? So, and we count the clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 clicks. 9 clicks. Next, we're going to take a 2mm Allen. We're going to remove our rebound knob. Put it in there. Don't fully remove the screw. Just loosen it enough until the knob comes off, and put it on the side. Next, we're going to remove our nuts. So we're going to need a 10mm socket and a 15mm socket. 10mm socket for the air side. Okay. Take them and loosen them. And then grab, well, probably could have taken out 15mm socket for the damper side. Be careful with it. All right. That felt like it loosened up quite a bit. Let's take it and put the larger nut on the side. Now let's grab our 10mm and or 10 millimeter. Now, there's crush washers, which did not come out with the screw on this one. And the crush washer came out with the screw on that one. That means we have a crush washer stuck in here. We will take care of that in a bit. Actually, I might get lucky. There it is. So I don't have to worry about it. Next, we need to separate the inner shaft from the lower legs. To do that, Fox makes these tools to make it easier. You could buy Foxes, they're very expensive. You could buy aftermarkets like these, which are much, much less. Or you could make your own out of couplers. Just take a coupler, buy a coupler about, I don't know, 1.5 inches, 2 inches. One's going to be an M8 by 1 thread. The other one's going to be an M10 by 1 thread. So what we do is we take one of these guys, we screw it in, let's say 3-4 full turns. And then we take a mallet and we tap it. There we go. I felt the separation. Take this one out, and let's do the same thing to the other side. And give it a bunch of turns. Cover at least 4 threads. Just like that. Give it a tap. There we go. Now we're gonna grab an oil pan, put our fork in it, separate the lowers from the upper, just like that. All right, we're going to get a lot of oil coming out of this side, and we should absolutely get oil, or absolutely oil should come out of the air side. I mean, you've seen some of my videos, I'm sure some of you, where no oil comes out. There should always be oil in these lowers, okay? So now we're going to take them, we're going to separate it, and I'm just going to let it sit here and dry for a bit. Now we're going to be working on the lower boot first, but before we do that, take a little bit of paper towel and put it inside the damper side of the upper tube, in order to collect any oil that's going to want to come out, because when you put this down, whatever oil on the inside is going to slowly drip out and create a pool of oil. So if you're worried about making a mess, you definitely want to have something to absorb that oil, all right? Next, we're going to remove the foam ring. So we're going to grab a pick, we're going to go underneath it and scoop it out. Now, I'm going to keep this foam ring. I'm not throwing it out. There's no reason. This is a very good condition. It's basically brand new, right? Foam rings technically are reusable. If they are in good condition and they're not like over dirty or, you know, worn out, you could definitely soak them in oil and use them again. You do not need to always change wipers, especially wipers and foam rings every 50-hour service. In fact, the more on top of your service you are, the longer the wipers last. Foam rings, I try and change them every 50 hours because usually mine are going to be a mess. But ultimately, wipers, you do not always have to change them out, guys. Again, stay on top of your service. They will last for quite a while. Now, to remove the wiper, you would use either a wrench, or I like these Ice Tools tire lever tool because it has a nice thick plastic coating. I've used it so much and it's still lasting, knock on wood. So you would go underneath and put leverage and push down, but I'm not going to remove these. I'm going to leave them as is. These are brand new essentially, so I'm just going to keep them in there, and you do not have to always change your wipers. If you do want to remove them and keep them, before removing them, make sure to take off all your rings, right? So there's a foam ring here, there's a foam ring here, or foam ring. There's a metal ring on top. Take out your rings. Technically, there's metal rings underneath, but you could sort of remove it without damaging that ring if you do it right. So just make sure you remove your rings to not crush them, okay? Next, we clean the inside. I have my little ritual. I use a dowel, a rubber band, paper towels, and alcohol. So first thing I do, put my finger at the bottom, take some alcohol, spray it inside, and try and break up the oil, shake it around back and forth. Basically, we're just trying to break up the oil right now, right? Just like that. And since I have the wiper on top, usually my first one, I pour it out this way, but we have the wiper on top. I don't want anything to go underneath the wiper. So we're just gonna pour it out the bottom, just like that. I'm gonna do that once. And we are going to do that again. Empty it out. And then we're gonna grab our dowel. Hopefully you can see that good. Leave about 1.5 inches on top, and we're going to loosely, very loosely roll. Do I have 2 papers here? There's one. Feels like one, yeah. So we're going to very loosely roll, do not tightly roll it, right? And then we're going to take the rubber band, we're going to put in the middle, and then we're going to tear some paper towel in order to create like a mop. Once again, put some alcohol in there, take our paper towel, we can go in there, turn it counterclockwise first to get that mopping action going, and then go up and down. The whole idea, yours is most likely going to be dirtier than mine is. Mine's, like I said, it's basically brand new. The whole idea is to try and get any dirt that's trapped behind the, like on top and the bottom of the bushings on the inside, right? So that's why I carry that paper towel. Let it soak up at the bottom because most of the crap's going to be on the bottom. Now mine's going to come out perfectly clean, I'm sure, and be wet, but there's not going to be any dirt on it. If there is, I'd be amazed. Yep, and we are clean. So I don't have to do it again. I would do this minimum twice, or at least until you pull it out and there's no dirt on it, and you're going to repeat it on the other side, all right? Now we inspect our bushings, right? So we have two sets of bushings up here and down here, and what we're looking for is to make sure there's no gouges, deep scratches, you know, that they're in good condition, basically. And while these are going to be good, but who knows, right? If you had a whole season on these things, what the condition is going to be in. So make sure you check them out. You're looking for deep scratches, gouges, so on and so forth. These are going to be good. I won't continue. What I will do is grab my 20 weight gold. I'm going to put some in this container and put some extra because we're going to need it later when we fill up the bottom of the boot or leg. Make sure you close the cap. Make sure you close this cap. We're going to take this, we're going to put it on the side. And that's it for part 1 of our 50-hour service. If you want to go to part 2, it's going to be near the end of the video because next we're going to work on the air spring and then the damper. For the air spring, first we need to remove the top cap. To do that, 26mm chamferless, a flat socket, right? You don't want a bevel. If you have a bevel, be very careful. Now, grab a good hold of it because this is probably going to be stiff, real stiff. Wow. That was actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I'm thinking this wasn't torqued down to where it should have been, but oh well. Now we're going to take it. There we go. And there's our token, and we're going to put it on the side. Next, we want to remove the air spring, and there is a ring on the inside. And if we look carefully, part of that ring is lifted, right? And the other part is flat. We want to take a flat pick, go underneath the lifted side, lift it up, and then walk it out. Just like that. Put it on the side. Now we remove the air spring, grab the stanchion, grab the air spring, and just pull it out. And there we go. Now that looks normal. Sometimes you pull out brand new air springs, man, and Fox completely just fills them with grease, but this one looks pretty normal. Let's grab a paper towel and clean whatever grease is in there. And then we first start with cleaning the stanchion. Clean the stanchion. First, we're going to clean the seat for that ring. Make sure there's no dirt on it. And then we're going to clean the top part in case there's dirt like the threads. Clean all that before we take some alcohol. Spray it in there. Okay, and we grab a paper towel, bunch it up into a nice ball. This is going to make a mess on the other side, so make sure you got a towel to clean it or an oil pan. Put it in there, and then grab a wooden dowel, force it all down, and there you go. Actually, they had quite a bit of grease on the inside. Before we work on the air spring, make sure you have seal kit part number 803-00-963. Take all the seals and line them up in order by size to make your life easier, okay? So the first thing we need to do is take off the base nut, but we might need heat to do that. And there is a seal, and we do not want to melt the seal on the base nut. So grab a pick and take the seal out and put it on the side. Then we're going to take a little bit of alcohol, clean the shaft before we put in a vise, and we are going to need a 10mm soft jaw hole. Let's put this in here. Okay. Now, 12mm wrench, adjustable wrench, Nipex, whatever you have. First, let's try without heat. And it's all spinning. Yep. We are going to need heat. Grab a torch or heat gun. Just heat it up a bit. We don't have to go too crazy. We're only warming up the Loctite red. Try it again. Let's go a little bit tighter on this. And, oh, geez, man, they ain't messing around. A little bit more heat. Whoever did this one. try it now. Wow. Well, it's coming loose, but holy cow. This one, guys, is the stiffest yet. I don't think I've ever come across one that is this hard. God, this thing feels like it's almost stripped in there. Finally loosening up. Still tight considering I'm nearly at the end. Okay. Jeez, look at this. I'm nearly at the end and it's still tight. Okay. Well, definitely a good amount of Loctite right in there. So, well, let's start taking things apart. Okay, we have our base stud on the side. Then we're going to take off this bearing head, whatever they call it. We're going to take off our bumper. Okay, stopper. And that's everything. So now we change seals, right? So we had already taken a seal from the top part, from the thick threads. Now we got to take the seal out from the thin threads underneath. So let's go under here and pop this one out. Come on. There we go. Jeez, man, it was messing around. Okay. We'll deal with these seals later. Next, let's clean up all the Loctite. Best to grab a wire brush. Metal will work just fine here because, well, we're on metal. All right, this part's mostly done. Now for the inside here, best to have one of these like bottle brushes or two brushes. And bring it inside. And basically just go back and forth. Oh, crying out loud. There we go. Just like that. Okay, now what we can do, just to make sure nothing fell on the inside, is tap it. And we are good. Awesome. So now, let's start off with changing the seals on this part first. So let's clean it. So we had two seals. We had this one here, which is that one over there. I'm keeping the old seals. In fact, I'm just going to use them. So let's not forget our grease. We're going to need grease. Take a little bit of grease, put it on the seal. Now the thick one is for the thin threaded side. Okay, and then we have the thinner one, which is this one over here. Again, I'm just going to reuse it. That is for the thick threaded side. Again, put a little bit of grease on it. And I'm just going through the motions for you guys. Oh, you're giving me a hard time here. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Put it on the side. Let's get rid of these guys. So now we have the bearing head here. So we have a big seal on the outside. And then we have one on the inside. This one's a quad ring. Careful. There goes the quad ring. This is the quad ring, okay? So again, in this kit, we have equivalents. I'm gonna use the same one. Why not? But what you're gonna do now is clean it. Make sure you clean the inside. Make sure you inspect the bushing on the inside, that it's in good condition. Okay, and then what we're gonna do, again, I'm gonna use the same one. What I like doing is taking a dab of grease and putting it, filling the seat on the inside. Then insert through one side, push him through the other, and push him down into his seat, into its seat. Okay, come on. That's it. Now, we need to verify that it is not twisted. You need to make sure that these quad rings aren't twisted, not twisted. Now we're going to grab, again, put some grease, fill up the seat. All right. more than enough grease on our fingers. And we're going to put this back on. And then we have our final quad ring over here. We're going to go underneath them. Lift it up. Again, there is a replacement. I'm just going to use the same one. I'm changing this whole air spring out, but this is basically a brand new air spring anyway. Why waste a whole kit? Again, I'm just doing this for you guys. So now what we're going to do again, fill up the seat. Okay, come on, in the seat, man. What are you doing? There we go. Take our quad ring. Again, we need to be 100% sure that we don't twist it when we put it in, and that is perfect. All right, now we assemble. Well, you would clean this, you would clean that, and then we would assemble. To assemble, first we're going to take a little bit of grease, put it on the shaft, right? Then we're going to take our stopper, comb part faces down. Then we're going to take our bumper, and that goes in. Then we're going to take our assembly over here, bearing assembly. Now, you could try and put this in as is. You're taking a big risk. This is a sharp edge, and this is a quad ring, which also has a sharp edge, right? That's why they make these bullet tools. You could buy Fox's, very expensive, or you could get an aftermarket one like this one. Oh, that one, it's real stiff. Oof, it's going to be able to come out. Or you could buy 3D printed ones for real cheap now. All will work just great. Put a little bit of grease on it. Flat side goes towards the top. Right? It's just much safer way of installing the quad ring into the shaft without, oh boy, that really is, oh now it's all slippery, great. That's in there real good. Usually it's not supposed to be that stiff, so I don't know why it's that stiff. Now it's too slippery. Let me put paper towel on it. There we go. There we go, that was odd. Back on the vise, 10mm hole in the soft jaw. Clean down the shaft, get all the grease off of it so we get good grip. Then on the inside where the threads are, put a drop of Loctite, but make sure it's in the threads, right? There we go. Make sure it's in the threads and not, ooh, that's too much Loctite. So you got to make sure it's in the threads and not on top of the threads, right? So we're going to put the shaft back in the vise. Clamp it down. Now, let's make sure. By the way, I did clean the threads, right? I dried them. I went in there with a paper towel and dried them. I should have showed that. Sorry about that. But make sure you remove any kind of grease that's on the threads. So then we're going to take our base nut. The thin threads go in. Screw it all the way down. Always by hand first. Then again, if you had a Nipix or a wrench, grab whatever you used. Bring it down to the end. All right, and then torque wrench, 5.7 Newton meters. Make sure it's not spinning. I have a feeling I'm spinning. I can't see from that side. Yep, I am spinning. Make sure it's tighter. And 90-degree angle, 5.8, within spec. Now we do have one more seal on the cap. This is easy enough. You're gonna take out the seal from up here, clean the cap. If you wanna remove the tokens, just slide it out just like that, right? Slide in, slide out. Clean everything, put it all back together. I'm gonna leave it as is. I don't need to change out that seal. In fact, I put everything back into the seal kit so I could use it next time. I'm gonna put the cap on the side. Now, this was the 140mm air spring. I'm going to be converting this to a 130mm air spring. Technically, my bike supports both. Well, technically, it supports 120, 130, and 140. And there you go. If you look at it, it's a little bit shorter. All right, so I'm going to take the 140. I'm going to put it into this bag again. And I'm not sure if I'm even going to keep this fork. I'm actually testing it against RockShox 3.1 Pike to see which one I like. Now, and I'll keep which one I like. So in the kit, we also have the crush washer and another one of those rings. I'm going to keep both of them. Keep everything together like that. Okay, so now, first thing we want to do, grab some grease, put it on your finger, and coat the inside of the tube. Okay. Then what we're going to do, we are going to grab our O-rings, and we're going to take a syringe. We're going to fill it up with 4 milliliters. Where are you? There we go. Of that 20 weight oil. We're going to take this, we're going to put it on the side just like that. Close this so you don't spill it by mistake. Put it on the side. Okay. So now, this one's brand new. What I am going to do, I'm absolutely going to fill the inside of this seat. Again, this one's brand new. Come on. There we go. And I got a hair on me. Great. Girlfriend's hairs are everywhere. Come on, stupid. There we go. Actually, I'm amazed that came off that easily. All right. Then we're going to put quad ring back on. Make sure it's not twisted. We are good. Got a whole bunch of extra grease. Let's quote the axle. Oh, wow, that is stuck. That is really stuck. Holy cow. Wow. Look at that. I can't get the bumper down. That is like jammed in there. Holy cow. That's ridiculous. That's never happened to me before. That's like crazy. That doesn't make sense. Okay. God, man, this bumper does not want to move. Why? Has anybody ever seen a bumper that tight before? I haven't. There we go. Crying out loud. Okay. That's in there. Now, take a good dollop of grease, put it all around the wiper, the quad ring on the outside, put some on top here. Right, then what I like doing, taking grease and building like a dam above the assembly here. See the way this is concave on the side? Try and fill that up. Okay. Just like that. Now, I'm going to grab 1 milliliter of the oil and put it here, just like that. Okay, now jam it all up, straight up. Make sure this is all compressed. Then we're going to take it, roll it in there, and stick it in until it locks. Just like that. Okay, clean this mess. Then we're going to take our ring. So you have a lifted part and a flat part. Try and put it in flat part first. Just like this. And roll it in. And boom. Now, try not to sink in the shaft, right? We're just going to try and pull it out. See, it did not go in good. And that's why we test it. So again, push it all up. Push it in. Grab the ring. Make sure, there we go. Now I heard the snap. Pull back, don't push up, just pull back. Yep, and we are in. Next, we're going to take the remaining oil in the syringe, should be 3 milliliters left, and squeeze it in there. Then we're going to take our top cap, put it in by hand, always by hand first. We grab our torque wrench, 24 Newton meters. Careful here, it's going to be slippy, it's going to be difficult. Okay. There we go, 24.7, technically 24.8. Next, we're going to plug in our shock pump and we're going to put in about 20 PSI. The reason we are doing this is to make sure that we don't push in the shaft while we're working on the rest of the fork. Okay. There we go. And the air spring is done. Next, we work on the damper. To work on the damper, the first thing we need to do is remove the knob. There's a 2 millimeter Allen, so screw. Grab your 2 millimeter Allen, counterclockwise. Everything should be in the fully open position. All right, so in a fully open position, this guy's pointing at around 1 o'clock for the high-speed compression. Now we are going to carefully remove the knob because there is a ball underneath, and there it is. Yay! And there's also a ball underneath here, I bet. Let's make sure. And there it is. Okay, so we're going to take the dials and just put them on the side. Next, we remove the damper. 28 millimeter chamferless flat socket, okay? 28 millimeter, unlike the 26. So, again, if you have a beveled socket or a chamfered socket, make sure, ooh, that's pretty high. Make sure that you're careful with it, right? So, take it, it's gonna be pretty stiff. There we go. Yep, we got it. And the damper should come out as a whole. Oh, I forgot to take out the towel. Yeah, remember that towel? Look how saturated in oil it is. Well, basically, that's what would have leaked on the floor wherever you left it or on the table. Okay, and now since we're here, let's clean the outside for now. Get any excess oil off of it so it doesn't make a mess everywhere on us. Okay, let's put this on the side. Clean the inside of the tube. First, I should say, clean the top. Get as much dirt off the threads. Then let's just grab alcohol, put it in there. Paper towel, just like we did the other one. Push it through. Towel, should have had that handy. And it is spotless, as to be expected. Now we're going to put this on the side. Next, we're going to work on the damper. Before we take it apart, let's listen to it. Just watch out that oil doesn't come out of the hole over here, right? So just don't block it, just cover it. It's silent. Yeah, okay. Maybe that noise it's making is not coming from the damper. Let me give it a good jolt. Odd. Maybe it's coming from the air side then. It definitely makes like a weird burping sound, like literally a queefing sound. Not all the time, but when it hits a good bump or a whole bunch of bumps, I mean, it just has this weird sound to it. Maybe it's not the damper. Oh well, it is what it is. Let's take it apart. To open it up, first we're going to take the top cap off. We need our 28 millimeter socket, flat soft jaw, and we're going to grab it from here. This is really cool, actually. They gave us a whole bunch of flat size to grab it from, right? So I'm going to have to compress it a little bit because I can't fit it into the camera. So you just, when you do it, make sure it's all the way out, right? So I'm just going to compress it. Hopefully I don't get some kind of pressure that gives me problems, but we'll find out. So there we go. Good crack. Now I'm going to be careful because there is a spring in here and I don't know if there's pressure. Probably not, but okay. Hold down on it just in case it does want to pop up. There we go. This is much better than the old grip. I like that a lot. Okay. Because the old grip, if you didn't grab it in the right spot, what else coming out? If you didn't grab it in the right spot, you'd compress onto this piston here. So there we go. I'll put that on the side for now. Let's remove damper, clean up whatever oil fell, and now we have brand new oil. Cycle it just to get all the oil from underneath. Let it drain and we'll be back. As always, folks, when it comes to oils, please dispose of it properly. Don't put it down a sink, don't put it down a toilet, don't put it down a drain, don't put it outside, don't throw it in the garbage. Take it, put it in a bottle, clearly marked, don't drink, danger, and give it to a local bike shop, an auto shop. They will, oil shop, they will know how to handle this, okay? Next, we're gonna separate the seal head. So let's put it back in the vise on the flat spots down here. Okay. Then we're gonna grab an 18 millimeter and, okay, that's a little unexpected. That is separating from the bottom. I'm honestly not sure if it's supposed to do that. I don't think it's supposed to do that. So. Okay. Well, that tube's separated. Question is, we don't have a flat spot to separate the seal head. Okay. How am I? Well, I'm going to have to clamp down the tube. All right, before we do that, let me figure out what size this is. Comes out to about 16.9, 16.92, 16.85, 16. Well, that's A3. We're going to grab it from up here anyway, so it's all got to be the same. 16.96, so close to 17. 16.9. I have a 16.7 over here. Now, let's make sure there's no oil or alcohol on it. Extend the shaft. We do not want to grab it up here. Grab it down here. Give it about 2 inches below the top of the shaft, the top part, right? Just like that. Let's put it in the vise. Nice and solid. I'm using a printed one just in case it scratches. And it'll work. Yep. Okay, we got it. Still pretty stiff. It's just odd that they wouldn't give us another flat spot somewhere. Why? Unless I did something wrong. I don't think I did anything wrong personally. It just separated from that top part. Okay. And there is our rebound shaft. And there is the mid tube. And that's pretty much separated. Now we have to work on it. First, let's start with the compression stack. Before we work on the compression stack, make sure to open up part number or seal kit number 803-04-091, grip X 2025, right? And organize the seals by size. Be very careful. They do give us a ball, right? A detent ball. So just make sure you don't lose that when you open up the pack, all right? So the first thing we need to do is take off this top cap over here. Grab a 4mm Allen, loosen it, just like that. And then hold on to this piston over here, hold down while we loosen and remove, hopefully you can see that well, the screw and the spring. Okay, drop the screw and the spring on the ground just like that, and then pick it up and put it on the side. Now what we're going to do is we are going to remove the entire piston stack one shot. So put a tie wrapper, zip tie inside that fits. Then we're going to grab it from the bottom. Be careful because there are shims on the bottom. There's going to be shims on the bottom, right? Pull the whole thing up one shot. Make sure you have a grip on the tie wrap. And then pick it all up. And there you go. Like I said, there's shims in there. And then what we're going to do, we're going to take this, we're going to put it on the side. Okay. Now, there's nothing else here. Nope. So now we need a 2mm Allen, and on the side of this cap, there is a screw. Loosen it. In fact, it's going to be on both sides, I believe. Yep. Loosen both until the hat comes off. Okay. Why is it not coming off? What is stopping it? It's got to come out more. Oh yeah, it's got to come out all the way. My bad. So we got to loosen these guys all the way. Or remove them, I should say. There we go. Yep. Okay, just put them like that on the side. Okay, then we have our spring and our piston, our IFP. Take that, put it on the side. Then we have our spring. Take that and put it on the side. There's two seals inside the shaft. Now, Fox, honestly, I wish you came up with something better than this. So we technically can get to them. At the base, of the low speed compression, there is a C-clip. To get to it, grab your low speed compression knob and turn it all the way to the closed position. And that will expose it. Okay, it's basically pushing the knob down. Now, on the sides over here, you will see two really small holes, one on this side and one on the opposite side. And what you need is a pick to go underneath and lift the C-clip in order to pop it out. Before you do that, what you should do is you're going to need a very thin, strong pick, by the way. So basically what we want to do is take the tip, find the tip of the C-clip and bring it close to one of the holes. Not totally past it. First of all, find a hole. I can't even see it. Hopefully you guys can see this good. I can barely see it. There we go. All right, so that's a hole right there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the tip of the C-clip right there. I'm going to bring it closer to the hole, right? The edge of it, basically. That didn't work. Let's try this side. There we go. This one's lifting it. There you go. You can see, hopefully you can see it moving, right? Now, to make our lives easier, because this thing could spring out and fly across the room, I don't want to do this without a magnet. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it in a soft jaw. We don't need to tighten, we just need it to hold it, right? So 8 or 9 millimeter will do. Just put it to the base. Again, we're not tightening it, we're just holding it. And essentially what we are going to do, let me go get my magnet. So again, we might need 2 picks over here. So I just lifted it. I can see that I fully lifted it. The pick's not strong enough to pick it up, right? So what I'm going to do is try and hold it with this pick. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's harder actually trying to make you guys see it than it needs to be. So again, go underneath it. You just saw the whole thing pop, right? So now I can't lift it like that, right? I need another pick to sort of lift it up. So let's grab this pick here and see if I can lift it up, and hopefully the magnet will hold it. Hopefully I don't stab myself. Again, what makes this difficult is trying to get it in camera. I don't even know if you guys can see anything. Okay, that's obviously proving to be a little challenging. Let's try this one here then, since it's curved. Okay, that one definitely went underneath. Well, that's not going to be easy. Let's try this side. Yeah, you see, I'm too much in the middle. I need to be closer to I need that C-clip to have its edge closer to the hole to lift it. So I have to find, not exactly. This sort of is a pain in the butt. Okay, come on. And you don't have to do this personally. These seals are optional. I wouldn't even bother doing this unless you're leaking at your dials. Okay, so that's near the edge.
One eternity later.
Yeah, it looks like the edge. Yep, there you go. There we go. The edge just popped up. So, see, like I said, you want the edge to pop up. And then grab another pick, go underneath it, and sort of lift it. The only thing is, be careful. There we go. It's going to want to pop out now. Again, be careful over here. You don't want it to fly out. Grab a... And it flew out. The magnet didn't catch it, but I heard it fall down there. Let me go find it. Again, a strong magnet. I should have got my stronger magnet. And there's our C-clip. Again, be very careful removing this. Make sure you have a strong magnet. Hopefully you'll have more room than I have, right? So let's take this and put it on the side. So now what we can do to finish up the low speed compression, we're going to grab it and we are going to basically keep on turning it out until we feel a skip or hear a skip, right? Counterclockwise. And right there, you hear that click? That means the needle inside is all the way out. And there we go. So that's the needle. And there is the seal that we can change. Again, optional. Everything I'm doing here is optional, without a doubt, right? You don't have to do this, really. Now, there is another seal on the inside for the high-speed compression underneath this knob. I just don't know how to get to it, guys. Honestly, it seems to me like this side might be pressed in. I'm not entirely sure. So I would not attempt it. I don't want to attempt it unless I have a spare one of these just in case I do damage to it, and I don't want to do damage to it. So ultimately, again, we'll just leave it as is and start replacing seals with what we have. This is optional anyway, in my opinion. This is the more important one if you're going to do a 200-hour service to change the seals on, okay? So the first seal we could change is the one on the low speed compression knob, right? So just take it out, find its replacement, and put it back in, okay? I'm going to leave it in because, again, all this stuff's pretty much brand new. Then we could go to the IFP. Now over here, we have two seals. One of them here, and the other one is going to be on the inside right there. Okay, just like that. And that's the only two. There shouldn't be another one, right? So ultimately, again, we would find the replacements and then we would put them back in. I can start with the outside one. Then I'm just going through the motions for you. And try and put the inside. All right, that popped in real easy. Sweet. Cool. And that was it for the IFP. We have nothing on the hat. And we have one more on the outside, but we're going to deal with this one later. To assemble it, first we're going to start with the spring. We're going to put it in, seat it good, right? Then we're going to take our IFP and we're going to make sure it sits nicely in the spring. Then we're going to take our hat, okay? Now our hat, we have two holes. So we have to make sure that it aligns in the two, let me show you actually. So there's separate holes, right? The screws need to go in the holes in here basically, right? So if you notice there's no holes and holes, and we're in the fully open position. So now we're going to grab our 2mm. Put it all the way in. Okay, and finger tight. This is literally like half a Newton meter. Same thing with this one here. Screw it in. Finger tight. Does not need to be tight. Okay, now we're going to be very careful with our shim stack. Now, this is the bottom. We want everything to sit inside this axle, right? So first, we're going to put the tie wrap in there, and then one by one, we are going to put everything in the way we took it out, okay? There's no need to take apart the shims in here. There's many shim configurations where there's multiple shim configurations, which is nice actually. And this is going to take a little bit of finagling to make sure all the shims sit. There we go. And we are fully in. So now that that is in, we are going to carefully hold down the mechanism. Ooh, I'm trapped. There we go. All right, now we're going to take our screw. Be careful with the shim on top. Screw it down by hand. So you go to the end, make sure the shim is centered. Screw it down by hand. Might help actually. Right you are. Grabbing a 4mm. Make sure everything's nice and centered. Make sure you're not pinched. We're going to test it to see if it's pinched. Everything should be able to float, right? If we go underneath it, it should float all the way around. There we go. So we are definitely floating. All right, then we need to torque it. 2 Newton meters. We do not want to over torque this. All right, let's take it. Oh, I guess I could have gone a little bit more. There we go. 201. Awesome. And we test it again, make sure we're floating. Yes, we are. We are freely moving. We are not pinched. Everything's looking good. Now, we have our last seal. This one's easier to take off while we are all assembled. There's no seal underneath. So basically, we would just take it. We would, come on, squish, there we go. Remove it, find its replacement, and put it back in. Now, we have our low speed compression. I'm going to do this at the end after the bleed because, well, it should be a lot easier to bleed and make less of a mess without the low speed compression in there, all right? So we're going to be careful with this, and we are going to put it all on the side for now. For the rebound rod, so first we're going to grab an 8mm and a 9mm wrench, and we're going to separate it. The 8mm should be on the piston side, and 9mm on the base nut side, and just crack it open. One side is going to come out, and it is this side that came out. So let's take it, unscrew it. There's a seal right there. We do not need to take this apart. Leave this intact unless you want to change your shim stacks. There's no reason to take it apart, all right? Make your life easier. So, and if you want, you could change that seal over there. Now inside, we have a needle with another 2 O-rings. Okay, that takes care of that side. Now we could take our seal head. Okay, the part faces the piston over there. There is a seal in here. And now we need to separate the base nut in order to oops, there's our shaft, our inner shaft. Okay. And now we could separate the base nut in order to change the seals in here. There is a seal on the outside. There's also a seal on the inside. To do that, make sure to clean the shaft real well, put it in an 8mm soft jaw hole, and then with your 9mm, make it a little bit tighter, give it a good crack, and there we go. There we go, there's our base nut. So now we're gonna grab a plier and grab the edge of the rebound knob, right? And we are going to turn it clockwise. And if you notice, this part will come up. Just be careful. Now we'll see a hat. And over here is a detent ball. Make sure we don't lose the spring underneath there, right? So be careful as we're screwing this out to make sure we catch that ball, that it doesn't fly out. There we go. So there's a spring and the ball. So now we should be able to just remove the whole thing. Ta-da! Okay. First, we're going to start off by removing any old Loctite. If it's proving to be a little bit stiff for a brush, grab your pick and chip it out. This might take you a bit, but again, we want to have good connection when we are all done. And we want to make sure that our threads on the inside of the shafts are clean of Loctite. Take it, spin it. The inside's all clean. Now we have the threads in here. Let's just clean those real well, quick. The first seal we're going to try and change is the one in here. This is a tricky one, okay? So grab a pick, go inside, go next to it, and try and push it out of its spot, which I just did, right? And then what you're going to do is grab this axle, and you should be able to take it out the other side. Just like that. And there is our seal, okay? So then you would take it. I'm not going to change it. I'm going to use the same one, right? Take a little bit of grease on the seal. All right, now we're going to basically do the same thing. So we're going to put it vertically until we go past its seat, which is near the top over here. Okay, so squish it just like this. These gloves don't make it easier, especially torn gloves. Okay, just like that, right? So grab a pick, try and seat that one side in its seat just like that. Now we're going to grab this and go the opposite direction. And there we go. That just sunk it right in its seat. Perfect. Awesome. And then we only have the seal on the outside here, right? So this is just your typical seal, easy to change. Pull it out, swap it, put a little bit of grease, put it back in, and our base nut is done. So then we have our either a quad seal or a cup. If it's a cup, it's directional. And if it's a cup, it's going to go down. Let's find out. Yep, that's got to be a cup. That is absolutely a cup. Yep, it's a cup. Okay. So it's not a quad seal, it's a cup. Cups are directional. It's going to face down. In other words, the cup part is going to face down, right? So we have a cup right there. I'm going to use the same one, and I'm just going to put it in. Again, we need to make sure that we put it in the right direction. Again, I'm just going through the motions for you guys to feel comfortable, hopefully. Okay. Is that it? We need to make sure that we are in the right direction. Fact. Yep. So if you put a pick in, you should be able to get stuck underneath. That means you're in the right direction. There you go. See, I can flip it back. So we are good there. That is changed. Then we have two small seals here. Small seals like this are always a pain in the butt. But, wow, this one's real small. Holy cow. I'm going to need a much smaller pick than that. In fact, I'm going to need this. So basically, don't stab yourself. Just go underneath it. Try and squeeze it. Bring it out. Just like that. Okay. Sure, that wasn't too bad. That is one. Then there's a bigger one behind it. Again, go underneath it. Don't stab it. Well, you're going to be changing yours. Just talk to myself there more than anything. Okay, just like that. Hop it up. There we go, right? So then you're going to change them. You're going to put them back in. You're going to put a little bit of grease on the new seal. First, let's take care of the bigger one, which goes lower. Just like that. And then we hop it over this edge here. Might need a pick to help us. Oh, don't jam. There we go. Okay, spring popping out of its spot isn't helping me. Okay, there we go. And just, that's one. Again, just a touch of grease. And put this into the first seat right after the cone. Just like that. And then we have our last seal. All right? Try and squeeze it to give you some room. It's just big enough for this one. So I don't have to use a sharper pick. And I need to. More of a fan of blunt picks. Come on, get in there. There we go. Pull this one out. Take them, change them. We have the new one. Put a little grease on him. And then we slip him back in. There we go. Oh, just when I thought I had it. There we go. Nope. 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 This glove's not helping me. Doing it in the air is not helping me. Come on. Come on. There we go. And that is everything. Now let's put it back together. So the first thing we're going to do is finish our base nut, okay? So one, we're going to take some regular grease, not SRAM butter, just regular water, thicker grease, right? And we're just going to put it around the threads. Just like that. All right. Now, let's take our spring. Let's put it in its seat, and then we're going to take the detent ball and put it, don't lose it. Should just put a touch of grease on a detent ball. Hey, where'd it go? There, come on, dummy. Why are you being stubborn? Usually you love grease. Okay, just a touch of grease, just so it sticks. All right. Now, the way this is going to work, we're going to slide this in. And then we're going to screw it, but we got to press down the ball and make sure the ball goes inside, right? So turn it clockwise. And when you reach the ball, just make sure you sink the ball enough inside. Don't trap it. That's it. Push it inside just like that. Oh, I pushed it out. All right, just might take a couple of tries. Squeeze the ball in. Oh, squeeze the ball in. Oh, it's actually pretty stiff. Okay. Now the ball's stuck. There we go. My God, man. Okay, so squeeze it in. I want to get in there. Can't get a good grip on it. Let's try like this. Okay. And nearly there. There we go. All right, so now it's in. Now what we're going to do is turn it counterclockwise. Turn this counterclockwise. Okay? Or turn this clockwise. Until the end. For now. All right, that's what we're going to do. We're going to mount the shaft in an 8mm soft jaw hole. Clean the threads real well. Then we're going to put Loctite Red on it. Yeah. There we go. That should be, ooh, that's too much. That's way too much. Okay, I got most of it. Cool. So we're going to take it, actually make sure it's sitting in the threads real well, blow it in. There we go. Take it, screw it in all the way down by hand. We can't make it to the end anymore. Test our 9mm. Yep. And then torque wrench, 3.4 Newton meters. There we go, 3.45. We remove the shaft. Now we're going to put our seal head in, right? So we don't need the bullet tool because we're technically going against the angled part, right? So we could just put it straight down. Remember, the deep opening faces away from the rebound knob. So that is in. So now we could take this shaft, make sure it is sitting on top, yep, of the pin on the bottom. We're going to take our needle, we're going to put it in this way, and this has to sit inside. We have to make sure it's sitting inside the shaft. Okay, that should be good right there. Now, we're going to take the piston head, we're going to screw it all the way in. Yeah. In fact, let's do it this way, make your life a little bit easier. Oh. All right, and when we get to the end, what we're going to do, once again, we're going to grab our torque wrench, hold the 8mm on one side, take the 9mm on the other side, and now, there we go, 3.47. Next, let's clean our tubes. So first, we're going to take paper towel, a little bit of alcohol on the inside. I mean, this one's brand new, but it's quite possible yours, well, chances are yours have been used heavily, at least a whole season. Hopefully you had a lot of fun with it. Push that through, that is clean. Do the same thing on this one. Just go in there with your finger. Clean the whole thing out. Now let's make sure our threads are clean, because we are going to have to Loctite them. Oop, that one's got residual Loctite that I definitely want to get rid of. This side's okay. That side looks good. This side looks good. And this one has a pile of blue Loctite. Great, I should have cleaned that before. Not bright. Not bright at all. We do have one more seal over here that we would need to change out, right? I had packed up the seal kit, but basically go underneath this, the cap, and take it out, grease the new one, clean the seat, put the new one in. So let me see if I could scrape off some of this blue. I just hate the fact that I had already cleaned this whole thing. I should have done this before. I'll be back. To assemble it, first we're going to grab the main tube. We're going to put a couple of drops of Loctite red on one side. Actually, let's do this side since the other one already had blue on it. Okay, so there we go. And that's good enough. Sink it in, make sure it's all nicely sunk in to the threads. Then we're going to take it and we're going to screw it into this part of the body, the compression stack part of the body. All right, screw it all the way down just like that. Till the end by hand. Okay, so now we need to put in the other side. So we're going to put Loctite blue on this side. Ooh, oh. And this hole's too big on this one. Sink it in real well. Wow. Okay. Make sure it's sunk in there. So now we are going to make sure this goes in all the way through. We're going to screw the seal head in by hand as much as we can. Fortunately, the old Loctite is still on the threads, but it's good enough. Then we are going to mount it in a flat jaw at the base. Grab our 18mm, thread it all the way down. Then we grab our 18mm crow's foot, 90-degree angles, 11.4 Newton meters. And this is going to torque both the top and the bottom when we're done. There we go. Let's make sure we have everything ready for the bleed. For starters, we're going to take our compression knob. Be careful, there's a ball on top and a ball on the side. We're going to make sure that the compression stack is in the fully open, the high speed is in the fully open position. So if I turn it fully counterclockwise, I'm in a fully open position. Put this on the side. Make sure you don't lose those two. Right, see, the ball came out. That's why you double check. Make sure you don't lose these balls. Put it on the side. Okay, so we're in the fully open position. So what we're going to do is we are going to fill the, well, not fully fill. First, we're only going to semi-fill it, maybe about, till here with oil. And we're going to cycle the damper up and down to get rid of all the bubbles from underneath the rebound shaft to make sure we don't have any there. And then we're going to top it off and sink it like you would a regular grip damper, right? So make sure your shaft is extended the whole way out. Now we're just going to take some oil. Actually, you know what? I think I got oil over there. But, oh. I was looking down there. Great. Don't do what I just did. Only fill it up halfway. Don't look somewhere else. So. Okay, actually let me take a little bit more out. Genius. Okay, so now we're going to cycle, and if you look when we cycle, the bubbles are going to come up. See, just like that. Our goal is to get all the bubbles out from underneath the rebound. All right, and the oil should go a little bit lower when we're all done. Just don't spill it like I did. That was, pay more attention. Just do it slowly, no rush over here. Bring it all the way to the end, give it a couple of taps. And I can still hear air inside the rebound. Hear those squishy noises? Right there. Actually, that sounded better. Yep, so there's still air, little bits. Let it sit there for about 30 seconds. Let those little bubbles come up to the top. And now there's no more squishy noises when I go fast. That's telling me that the air is pretty much gone. Yep, we are good. Okay, I'm gonna mount it. Next, what we're gonna do is fill it up with oil. until you see a little bit of oil come out of the bleed port on the side over here. I don't know if you'll see it or not, but there we go. Just a little stream coming out the side. Close the can, put it on the side for now so we don't spill it. Now, what we are going to do is, one, we need to press this in from top down. Oil is going to want to squirt out of here, and oil is going to eventually want to squirt out of here. Make sure you're wearing your safety glasses. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and cover, don't block the bleed hole, but try and cover everything as we sink this in, okay? And I don't know why they did it like this. It's going to actually be more challenging. So we also need to put Loctite blue on these threads over here. Okay, so make sure you have your Loctite blue ready. When we sink it in, at the end, we're going to want to sink it in with the socket to make your life a little bit easier, right? So first, we're going to take this and sink it into about here, okay? And then when we get here, then we're going to try and sink, put Loctite, clean the threads if they're dirty, put Loctite on, and then sink the rest of it in, all right? So again, top down, this is going to create a mess. Again, it's unavoidable. So just make sure you cover it and just slowly sink it in. Slowly sink it in. Don't trap your towel inside. Whatever you do, slowly sink it in. Okay. See, I don't mind that personally. I think that helps tremendously. There we go. Slowly sink it in. Slowly sink it in. All right. So you see, I just about trapped. I knew something felt wrong. Now, okay. So, that did not go as planned. I sunk it too much, and now I can't put Loctite on the threads. Actually, I can. Yeah, I still do see the threads. So, I don't know about you, but you're going to be able to see the threads. Now, clean the threads. Good. That sort of threw me off because of the shadows. Okay, so underneath here, you will see the threads. You'll see the wider threads. That's for the down tube. The inner threads, that's to screw into here, right? So what we're going to do, clean the inner threads well, and then, in fact, make our lives a little bit easier too. Let's absorb some of that oil on top so it doesn't spill on our Loctite. Okay, now we're going to take Loctite and we're going to put it on the inside, okay? Again, on the inside threads, not these outside threads. Okay, just like that. Now, grab another one of these things. Last one, good. So, cover it on top. And now from the top down, be careful here, we're going to start sinking and screwing it in by hand. Whoa. Oh, nearly there. There we go. Only had one more twist left. That's funny. Okay. And then we're going to take our torque wrench. And again, 11.3 or 11.4 Newton meters. And 0.82. It's okay. It's all good. For the low speed compression, first we're going to grab the dial and then the needle, right? We're going to put the needle in the dial. We're going to put it all in. And we are going to screw it down by hand first. Oil will come out. That's good. Then grab our low speed compression dial and dial it until it is in the fully locked position. Right there. So we are in the fully locked position. Remove the dial. Okay. Now this is going to be a little bit tricky. Probably should get the other one, but we need to put in this C-clip to lock it all down again, right? So put the C-clip in one side and try and, oh wow, I got lucky. That went in real nice. Sweet. Okay. So now we're going to test it. Grab our dial again, bring it all the way to the fully open position and make sure that, well, it stops. There we go. It's not coming out. We are locked. Before we test it, what we need to do, I put the dials back on temporarily. I'm going to take them off again. But what we need to do is drain any excess oil. So take the bleed hole, point it down, and see what I mean? Some oil might come out. There we go. Actually, you got to do this vertically. I was just trying to show you. But I'm good. Look how silent that is. That's great. That's sounding super. Okay, so now, let's clean this before I make a mess. Clean this before I make a mess. So, we obviously work. We're totally silent. Actually, we are going to get some noises. But let's try low speed compression. All the way closed. This should be a lot stiffer. Oops, I just did high speed as well. Nope, just low speed. There we go. Oh yeah, that's definitely stiffer. That takes more force without a doubt. Okay, high speed, I don't think I'm going to feel high speed. I mean, well, actually I do feel some, wow, that is stiffer. That's significantly stiffer. Holy cow. Okay, that's surprising. I mean, it still goes in. It's not full lockout. And again, there's going to be some purging, right? So this thing still has to set. So let's try our rebound. Where is the notch? Oops. Oh, right. You're over there. Oh, I don't know. Okay. Let's turn it all the way to the lock position. So if I go in, oh yeah. That's pretty stiff coming out, man, to say the least. So we got full rebound working there. And done. Cool. Totally silent. She is doing great. To put it back into the upper tube, just like the other side, I'll slide this in. Screw it down by hand. Always by hand first. Okay, let's take them as far as we can with the ratchet. And then with our torque wrench again, 24 Newton meters. 20, come on. Where are your fingers? Get in there. Be careful with it. 24.5. Put the dials back in. So we have a pin over there, right? And basically, when we were in a fully open position before, this part of the dial was at that 1 o'clock position, right? Which means that that bearing is going to fall to the left of that pin, okay? So what we do, just make sure you don't lose that bearing, right? So put the dial to about the 1 o'clock position from the backside. Try and snap it in there. If it doesn't snap in, that's because the bearing didn't go in, and I bet you the bearing still hasn't got in. In fact, yep, that side's still not on. Try and wiggle it in. If not, take it out and try again. Make sure the bearing didn't fall out. And the bearing did not fall out. Let's try that one more time. So we are here near, nope, near the 1 o'clock, which is just about there. There we go. Now we just snapped in. All right, so then our dial's in the fully open position, both of them, by the way. So now I'm going to put my low speed compression, make sure this one fits in. And then let's put our screw. We will screw it down. Don't over tighten it. Make sure you hold the dial with your knob. I mean, hold the knob with your finger. Jeez, man, I'm gonna go to bed. Okay, all the way down. finger tight, don't over tighten it. Make sure we get free movement. Too tight. Let's go a little bit back out. Yep, definitely too tight. Okay, how about there? So now, there's all my clicks for my high speed. Put in a folio position. And now there's all my clicks for the low speed. Although it is getting caught. Why is it getting caught? Oh, because I'm already in a fully closed position. There we go. That's making more sense. My bad, I thought I was fully open for both of them. So now both of them are fully open. And now, there we go. Now I should be able to close this. Yep, and it doesn't affect it. Perfect. And our damper is done. Let's finish up the 50-hour service. Now, for the rest of the 50-hour service, typically in my videos, there wouldn't be wipers in here, right? But I ended up not pulling out the wipers for this particular shock or fork and using the existing ones. I did take out the foam rings, and we're gonna start the service as if you were to have kept your wipers, okay? If you wanna see how to install wipers using this tool, check out this link up there, and you should get a really good idea as far as how to get it done. So the first thing we're going to do, bud, is we are going to remove these springs and put them on the side, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, again, usually the wipers wouldn't be in here. I'm going to grab a foam ring and I'm going to tuck it. Now when we tuck it, it needs to go underneath the wiper, and we need to make sure, we absolutely need to make sure that we don't twist it when we tuck it in there, because this twists real easy. Okay, hopefully you can see that well. I don't know, why am I having such a tough time? Okay, already I could tell it's twisted. Yep, is it? Nope, it's not. So usually you could feel it. If you go around and it feels smooth and you don't feel a bump, that means it's not twisted. Sometimes it looks like it's not twisted, it's just some parts are sitting flatter than others. So that one's okay. So now we got this one here. So next what we're gonna do is we are going to apply some grease to the wiper on the inside. Concave part, try and put a good amount. Now, I'm not gonna put too much because this thing will get regularly serviced if I end up using it regularly. Again, trying to figure out which one will work better, this or my Pike 3.1. Okay. Down there, just like that. All right. That's good enough for now. First, we're gonna put on our sag ring. Okay, actually, I like it on the air side. So, I'm going to put the sag ring on the air side. Then, I'm going to put on the metal rings for the wipers. Now, before we close this up, here's a great time to clean the oil off the back and off the top, but especially the back. Any grease and oil, it's a perfect time to get it out of there because this stuff's sticking. Thick and sticky, and dirt will attract to it like a magnet. Now, crown down, serial number up. And put it inside. Try and tuck in one side just a bit, and the wipers, and then we tuck in the other side. Make sure you don't pull the wiper. Should slide in. There we go. Next, we fill it up with oil. Make sure that there is an opening over here where you can put syringes in to fill it up with oil. So just push it back a little bit, right? Also prepped my nuts and the seals, the new crush washers. I am not going to use the old crush washers. I am absolutely going to change these out for new ones. I had spares anyway, right? So for filling up with oil, again, we need 4 weight for the damper side, 20 weight for the air side. If you look at this chart right there, you will see that for the air side, we need 10 cc's or milliliters of 20 weight. And for the damper side, for a Grip X non-step cast, we need 20 cc's of 4 weight, which is right here, okay? So first I'm gonna start off by putting in the 20 weight. It helps to lift up. I mean, just a lot easier. You don't really have to worry about oil coming back out. And now I'm going to put in the 20 cc's of 4-weight. All right. This is also a really great chance to clean any excess oil or grease from the bottom over here before we close it up. And now, there we go. 1 and 2. Perfect. Actually, I might as well just leave that there. So, I'll start off with the 10 millimeter. What am I doing now? It's getting late. I need to go to bed. Okay. As for torque, 12 Newton meter for the damper side. Usually I don't like going above 10, to be honest, but I'll give this Grip X a chance. Okay, come on. This to me is just like, feels so hard. I'm leaving it at 10.28. I don't like going higher than 10, to be honest. So 6 for the air side. 6.2. Next, let's install our rebound knob. So the nut goes on the flat part of the shaft of the knob, or the stem, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, just make sure it's on the flat part. And let's turn it. Yep, there's my clicks. Next, let's put the metal springs back onto the wipers. Let's not forget those. Make sure they're on all the way around. And we spray them down with some alcohol, and we remove all the excess grease, oil that is on the outsides. Make sure you get all the little spots. This way, dirt won't attract to it as easily. Make sure to get the crown, everything you grabbed onto. And ta-da! And there you have it, folks. You just finished fully servicing a 2025 Fox Factory Series Float 34 Grip X fork. This is actually a very easy fork to work on. 50-hour service. Keep on top of your 50-hour lower service. Doesn't have to be every 50 hours. Just do it regularly. Air spring, simple enough. Grip X damper, actually just like the Grip, it's pretty easy damper to work on. Not all that bad. Couldn't figure out that high-speed compression one, but I'm not sure if that's serviceable. If anybody out there knows if the high-speed compression dial seal is serviceable, let me know. I couldn't figure it out without feeling like I was going to damage something. The rest of it, reality is, you can make it super simple by just either changing the oil or just changing the 3 main seals, your rebound seal head cup and your piston seal and your IFP seals. The rest of it, do you really need to change them? If you want to, do it. If not, I wouldn't even think about it, right? Next time I might not even do it. Who knows? Well, I know I'm going to do it, but still, point B, you could really simplify the fully servicing this fork. So all that's left is to put your, settings where they were before, put your air to where it was. Do not forget the caps for your rebound and your air. Now, after your first few rides, make sure you clean any excess grease that will come out, or oils that will come out of the wipers, to make your wipers job a little bit easier, probably 5 to 10 rides, somewhere in there. And then, go out there and have a blast with it. So, folks, if you like this video, please click that like button, man. Click that subscribe button to see more videos. Click that bell button, ding, in order to get notified when new videos get released, and more videos like this are coming. If you want to check out a couple of videos right now, these 2 videos might be of interest. Until the next time, I hope all is well with all of you, and we will be talking to you soon. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.